God,
grant me the serenity
to accept the things I cannot change,
the courage to change the things I can,
and the wisdom to know the difference.
In this episode of Overcoming Addiction, we will focus on the importance of further treatment after being released from detox. Tonight's guests are Demeo and Keithy Laporta. Together, we can make a difference. Here's your host, Paul Hammersley.
Hi, I'm Paul Hammersley, and welcome to another episode of Overcoming Addiction. And tonight we're going to focus on detox and what to do when you get out of detox and continuing on further treatment. And I have a couple of guests with me tonight. I have Demeo and Keithy Laporta, and I just want to say, what's up, Rob? Keithy, how we doing?
Good.
So, as you heard, we're going to just be focusing on detox. Maybe, when somebody comes to us, because we all work in the field. So, what is the process when someone comes to us? Rob, I'll start with you. So, somebody might have an issue and they don't know what to do. A family member might approach one of us and they don't know about detox, they don't know about further treatment, and we all know the importance of going to detox and then maybe to CSS, to TSS, to further treatment. So let's just talk a little bit about what that process may be like for someone and how important it is to continue treatment before you go back to wherever it is you were when you originally went in. So, Rob, give me a little insight on some of the people that you deal with. First off, where do you work?
We work for Dimock Detox out in Roxbury over at 50 Dimock Street.
Okay.
It's been around a while. My phone goes off all the time with people that need detox. A lot of it comes down to is how willing are they to get the help that they need. A lot of our clients that come through our door battered, beaten, and broken, they come in with the best intentions for themselves until that obsession of the disease of addiction kicks back in.
So basically that's why they're calling you, because they might be using, just in case someone's watching that doesn't know what a detox is,
right,
or that doesn't know what further treatment is. So we're here talking about someone that might be using heroin, some type of opioid, whatever they're doing,
alcohol,
and they need some type of help. They can't do it on their own. They've come to the point in their life where they just wave a white flag, they give up. What do?
Absolutely. The Detox is Acute Treatment Services, ATS, where a client will come in to have their withdrawal symptoms medically monitored, and they would be helped with a protocol of some sort of maintenance to help their withdrawals become easier to deal with as they go through the process of detoxification of their body.
And how long does detox generally run?
We detox anywhere from 5 to 7 days, depending on what they're detoxing from.
Insurance-based too, right? It's usually like they call it the spin dry, 5 to 7 days in general. Generally, nobody gets more than 7 days, right?
Well, I mean, I do all the aftercare over in Detox, so we're actually one of the first detoxes in the state to do it.
And that's Dimock?
Dimock, yes.
Okay.
So at day 7, we give them another 7-day extension, so we hold people up to 14 days now.
Oh, so you can hold them in the detox for 14 days. Now, does that person that's being held, can you advocate for yourself? Because I tell everyone, when someone comes to me and they're looking for help, so I tell them once they get to the detox, they should the first thing out of their mouth should be, I want more treatment. Yes. Because if they don't do that, there's a chance after that time is up, that's 7 or 14 days, that they're going to send them home. You need to advocate for yourself, saying, I don't want to go home. Is that on point?
Well, I guess with certain detoxes, because our detox, Dimock Detox, you come in, you see a counselor on your second day there. You do your biopsychosocial, and you talk about what you want to do for further treatment, which is like either some type of maintenance, like Suboxone or methadone, or a halfway house, or CSS, TSS, stuff like that.
So let's stop there. CSS, TSS. Explain for people that don't know the acronym. So a CSS, from what I understand, that would be the next stop after detox to get to the TSS while you're waiting for the potential halfway house. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's basically another 14-day holding. So it's called clinical stabilization services. Mm-hmm. So it's more clinical. You know what I mean? There's more groups run. There's more interaction with counselors and stuff like that.
And the reason for that, from what I understand, is the beds are full. Like, you can't go right from the detox to a 6-month program because generally most beds are full. So they had to do something between detox and the 6-month, call it halfway house, for a place for someone to go. Am I on point?
Absolutely. We just do not have enough beds in Massachusetts. We have the best model of treatment, in the New England area, but we just, with the amount of addicts that are out there, how powerful this disease is, we just don't have enough beds. So in order to wait for a waiting list for a 6-month residential, we have to stay in the process. We have to stay in a controlled environment. We have to stay, monitored and make sure that we're doing the right thing. And in order to do that, they've opened CSSs and TSSs to, keep us on track and to keep us monitored, clinical stabilization and transitional stabilization units for us to transition into that halfway house.
And that's some of the information I give as well. So I just got a new position with the city. I haven't talked about it yet, but now I'm the addiction recovery resource specialist for the city of Malden. So right in Malden, if there is someone that needs help, they can walk right into City Hall and get treatment. They could come see me, and I do I call you.
Right on.
I'm the guy that makes that call to see where the bed's available. So like the way the treatment, I'm kind of boots on the ground. I'm looking for guys like you that are in the field, in treatment, that I can call and say to you, is there anything available? 9 times out of 10, if I don't call at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, the answer is going to be no. And then I have to go right down the list because, correct me if I'm wrong, the beds fill up so fast. It's usually in the morning is the best time when either people leave or the turnaround happens. Is that right?
Yeah.
So are you seeing that too? So the best time to get a bed for your clients or for people coming in, would that be in the morning?
Absolutely.
Because I noticed that they post, every day we post the beds on various social media sites on what's available in the state across Massachusetts. And what I'm seeing is that list comes out at like 7 a.m. But if you call and it might be 9, you might be too late.
Absolutely.
Because the beds are filling up. So I'm seeing a huge issue with we don't have enough beds. I'm seeing maybe we could shoot for a recovery center, just something in our area where people could have a place to go. How do you guys feel about once they leave? Like, talk about why further treatment is so important. What I'm getting at is, so after 7 days, what I see on my end is if you get out of a detox after 7 days and you return to wherever it is you came from, the odds are really against you that you most likely are going to fall into the trap of if you're around the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut, and if you don't get enough information and treatment, basically in a detox, it might be 5 days of methadone, Suboxone, or whatever it is, you get 24 hours clean, you go home thinking you're good. Why is further treatment so important? Why do you think?
For me, with my own personal experience, of trial and error, error, going into detox for a spin dry and coming out back to the people, places, and things, and all the things that triggered me to get high. Like you said, I can only, I keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Like, it was important for me to go, into the Dimock detox my last time, and, closed mouths don't get fed. I needed to advocate for myself, like you explained earlier. I need to talk about my patterns, my routines, and what I do, and where it always leads me. Like, Rob's best thinking always led Rob right back to the same people, places, and things. It wasn't until, I went in there and I started, asking for help that they were able to push me through the whole process of treatment, where I went to a 6-month residential, and I was able to get a substantial amount of time separated from my drug of choice, where I started to get that clear view. And it took a long time to relearn everything my brain was taught in active addiction, and I needed that time out from life. I needed to relearn basic living skills and things that were saving my life and things I had no idea how to do.
And you did that with further treatment.
Absolutely.
Now, I can identify with that as well, because it was probably close to 15 years ago when I went into my last treatment. There were many, but my last one, there was 5 days of detox, and then it was 21 days into the CSS, you could call it. And what I learned is once the detoxification happened, now, like you said, I'm left with myself.
Absolutely.
So that's not a good place to be. And for most people, you're the last person you got high with.
Yeah.
And when you're home and you're sitting there and you're thinking, that's terrible company. So what I got, me personally, out of the next 21 days was there was a program that was geared towards learning about myself, learning why I might be the way I am, what makes me tick. There was some step work involved. Like, they crammed a lot of things into 21 days, but it surrounded me with people just like me, and then there were people coming in from the outside bringing what they call commitments. So then I could see what I could be getting into once I got out. And they talk about people, places, and things. They told me the people that you were hanging around with, you can no longer hang around with. The places you're going, you can no longer go. And the things you were doing, you can no longer do. So my answer to that was, what does that do for me? That leaves me by myself. They said, exactly. You need new people, places, and things. And until I understood that, that's when I made, in those 21 days, I made that decision. And Keithy, is any of that like part of, do you identify with any of that, or do you see that in some of the people coming your way?
Absolutely. I mean, there's many different, there's many different forms. I mean, they come in beaten, battered, broken. They come in just starting with their disease, they're not knowing anything about it, thinking that they got a handle on it, when that's really the most dangerous probably part you can be in. You know what I mean? It's like in the real beginning of getting stuck in the grips of the disease, like before they pick the needle up, or when they start sniffing heroin and anything else. It's like they come in and it's like they don't know what to do. So when I sit down with my clients in my office, I sit there and I kind of try to get a little background check on like it's like an individual basis. Like all right, what makes you tick? You know what I mean? Like what started you use, and what have you tried? What have you not tried? You know what I mean? And then we'll come up with a treatment plan, and we'll try to figure out like the best possible option for each client. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and you mentioned like a recovery plan, and there's goal setting as well. Like I had to be taught, I have to see it. It has to be tangible for me to believe it. Like I need to understand. So someone set a series of goals, very small, attainable, and it was a keychain process through another fellowship, and they said, get this next keychain, and to me, I said, okay, that's something I might be able to do. I had to go 30 days in a row. And I learned that I could put 30 days together, and once I did that, I felt really good because I accomplished something. So that came back to the person I called at the time. It was like a recovery coach sponsor. It was someone guiding me that I needed to show me, because I had no idea, because after using for so long, I think you said it, Rob, it's my best thinking, when I take the wheel, it doesn't work for me. Like as soon as I take over in any part of my life doesn't go as well. So the other thing I'm seeing in my job is people not going on to further treatment, and they're calling me 3 days, 4 days later, looking for me to replace them, and it's not as easy as that. Like sometimes the door doesn't revolve, and sometimes people die. So like anyone that can get a chance, I try to tell every single person, it's important, really important, that you try to stick this out and stay. And like, because that door just might not open for you again. And that's what I'm seeing a lot also with the families too. So families are coming to me. Families are battered. Who takes the brunt of the disease? The families. Yeah. Like the moms, the dads, and also there's a big part of that is enabling. I don't know, do you guys deal with any families at Dimock? Do you talk to any family members? Do you see it? Does any family members come through, or is it just people?
It's just based primarily the clients. We don't
just the
with
clients.
HIPAA and things like that. We really
Right.
can't disclose any.
That's correct.
Involved, yeah.
That's correct. If you were to put a percentage, like talk about maybe people that repeat, or, there are people.
I'm one myself, absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, it's hard.
It's difficult.
It's, the odds are against us. So in your words, like, what do you see? It's hard to put a number on it, but most people, like, including myself, it took a lot of, I had to fall down a lot
To get back up.
to get back
Absolutely.
up. And are you guys, is it still, I see it getting worse. I see it really bad out there.
Yeah, I see, people with long-term recovery go back out. I'm seeing a lot of same client faces coming through. I know for me, like, I've been to, the Detox that I work in, Dimock, I've been a client at Dimock 14.5 times. I knew that I've been to Dimock 14 times. I've been to other treatment facilities throughout the state numerous times, and it was kind of like that was my process. I had to experience, because as I went into these detoxes, as I went into these CSSs, there was always a staff member in recovery, or there was always somebody in recovery there, or somebody that worked there that always gave me a little piece of information that I took out of that detox with me on the run back to a program, or right back into the doors of that same detox. And then like that last time, it was kind of like the clear view, a bigger picture was painted with bits and pieces of everything that I picked up through my whole all-star treatment program, and I was able to paint this bigger picture, and I was able to hold on to my seat a little harder that last time.
And now you work in the field.
Now I work in the field.
And you give back.
That's all I can do that keeps me clean.
And how does that feel?
It's rewarding and it's heartbreaking at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where it's, it takes a toll on us. It takes a toll. There's a lot of self-care involved. Filling that cup back up as we continue to pour it out.
Talk about self-care for the people that don't know what that means. What does that mean? What is self-care?
For me, I'm involved in a 12-step fellowship. I have a sponsor and I do step work. I focus on the change rather than the results. I try to take time for myself and know when I am becoming overwhelmed work-wise or recovery-wise or even bombarded with phone calls. I try to take a break, and if I go around pouring that cup off, I don't fill it back up, then I'm going to run empty and I'm no good to anybody else. I can see through my own recovery that the more I'm putting out, if I'm not putting back into myself, my family pays for it. The people closer to me pay for it. I have a harder time getting up and going to work, wanting to hear somebody else's problems. My empathy and things like that they're not myself in a sense.
So self-care could mean simply, in the world of addiction, too much of anything is not good.
Absolutely.
So at any point for any one of us, if we're doing too much, we should always remember we're the most important person, because if we're not able to work the way that we're supposed to work, if we're doing too much, things are going to suffer. So self-care could mean mind, body, and spirit. You need to take care of your mind. I don't know what people do. There's all kinds of different forms of that, but it's taking time off for self, whether it's going to the gym, going on just a simple vacation, or just stopping everything.
Yeah.
Don't answer the phone. And it's hard sometimes in the line of work, because if we don't answer that phone, who knows who could be on the other end of that call. So, it does get difficult, but that's where we have to find balance. And this goes for everybody. Keithy?
Yeah, no, I can speak from experience. How about just being an addict in recovery and working in the field in itself it's tough. It is rewarding, but it's also, it's hard, because it's like you live and you breathe recovery all day, every day, 24/7. My own experience, I've been working in the field for about 4 years now. I've worked at different treatment centers. I've helped many people. I kept helping many people and forgetting about my own recovery and my own stuff, and I got lost in other people's diseases, and I picked up again myself, and I fell off. You know what I mean? And so from experience, it happens.
It does. And dealing, you said
That's
something.
why self-care is it's important.
You said something there that really, dealing with everyone else, because let's face it, this isn't the regular job. No. What we deal with isn't your regular 9 to 5. What we deal with is people trying to take the needle out of their arm, people we might have just put Narcan up their nose, we might have just buried someone, we might have just, there's a running gamut of things that we see on a daily basis. Trauma. Trauma is a good word. We deal with trauma.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that trauma can rub off on us. So if we don't take care of ourselves, we're no good to those people that might be in that place. So, again, just the importance to me of further treatment is everything. If you don't go on to further treatment, the odds are generally they're really stacked against you. And I asked you a number earlier. Is there anything you see, if you were to just say a number, I'm going to say a number, it's very high in the percentiles. It's like 80, 90% of people that go back out. That's the number I'm seeing if you don't go to further treatment.
That's pretty accurate to me.
They used to tell me in the halfway house to look around the room, and only 3 of us were going to make it. And I think from my actual graduating, I don't want to say class, or graduating group of guys in that particular halfway house, I think there's only 2 of us still, actually productive members of society to this day.
I think we went to the same place, because the numbers that I used to get, and they stand to this day, they say that 3 people out of 100 will acquire sometime, not get it, and not live a happily ever after. 3 people out of 100 get some time. So that is, to me, that's a number that's 33%. That means if there's 25 people, when we go, say we speak at a detox, we do a commitment, and there's 25 people in the room. That means 3/4 of one person. 3/4 of one person, not even a whole person. Like that, you know, and when you look at these numbers, you know, it's almost like the outside world doesn't get it.
We don't. We're advocating for lives that still matter.
That's
you
right.
know, a shunned society, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Not many people or political offices are looking at in the light that they should be.
Unless it bites them.
Of course.
Unless it bites them.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm seeing a lot of that because, you know.
The stigma is alive and well.
Thank you for saying that, because it is.
Alive.
The stigma it's very much alive, and it doesn't go anywhere. And people, we can work at it, but it is alive and well. They still look the other way to it, unless, again, it affects you directly. You don't want to know about it. You don't want to see it. You don't want to look at it.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
I was gonna say one thing about that too. I mean, a lot of the times an addict stigmatizes himself. You know what I mean? Like I don't want people to look at me like this. I don't want people to judge me and opinionate me, however you say it, on what I've been doing and how I live my life. You know, like I'm afraid to reach out for help on what people are gonna think of me.
That's
You know,
right.
I don't want my family to shun me. I don't want my wife to leave me. I don't want my kids to not talk to me. I don't want, like, you know what I mean, like the people that I
stigma.
love leaving me.
Yeah,
Because
that's right.
they think I'm a bad person because I use a substance. You know what I mean?
You know, for a long time, I was in a job recently that I was afraid that people might find out about me on what I used to be like and what I used to do. And it was only 4 short years ago that I came out of the closet, per se. Like, I actually was able to talk about it because I was so ashamed because of the way people would make me feel in the position I was in, like, oh my God, that guy did that. And that's just how people would make me feel. And finally, when you rise above that, and you know, we have to stand up for ourselves to break this stigma. The bottom line is, if we don't do this now, it's never gonna get done. And as we do this, people will start seeing it, advocating for us, back to treatment. Maybe we get more beds. Maybe we get longer treatment stays. Because what I saw in the time that I've been around clean, I've seen 60% of the beds get cut since I first got here. When I first got here, it was 30 days. You went into a 5-day detox and they transferred you over to the 21 days in the same facility, considered detox. It wasn't called CSS. It was just all in the same facility. So, you know, there's many things we could talk about where money goes, because I see lots of money for other things that, you know, money gets thrown for other things. But when we're in a health epidemic that is worldwide,
It's a freaking plague, bud.
where is the money for that? Like, there should be money going to this madness to take care of our own, just to take care of people. Because, you know, when someone goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, you know, you might be overweight, and the doctor says to you, if you continue to eat that way, you could become diabetic, and you're going to end up on the needle. You know, you're gonna end up, you know, with insulin. But yet, if you continue to eat that way and you end up on insulin, nobody looks at you bad.
Nope.
But if you're using drugs, and someone says to you, gee, if you continue doing that, you know, you're gonna end up pretty bad. But if you end up with a needle, shooting heroin, people look at you totally different. But then they say it's choice. This is where it comes in. They say it's your choice. You didn't have to do that. They don't have to do that. But yet, when you have someone diabetes, but it was their choice. So you know, it might be a tough analogy, but it's for real.
Absolutely.
You know, it's alive, it's well, and we work on something like that at Malden Overcoming Addiction
It's like
called
the great debate.
Malden Stop the Stigma. We educate the kids. We get a chance to go in and speak to 3,200 kids every year on what stigma is. We get to go into each school from the 5th grade level up and just talk about stigma. And they take a picture, they wear a ribbon, they support it. They might not know what it is, but the seed got planted.
Yes.
So it leads into the 6th grade. We do it again. We come with it every year. So, and then we also do a video. The kids do a video all about what they feel stigma is. And stigma comes in many forms. It's not just drug use. You know, one of the things I like to talk about is the guy asking for change out front of Dunkin' Donuts. What's the first thing in your mind when you see a guy with a cup asking for change? What's he gonna do with the money? A lot of times, I'm guilty of it. If he doesn't look good to me, I might think something wrong, but meanwhile, that guy just might be down on his luck.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I know that you guys are big advocates of the stigma, and I'm really proud of what you guys do. I'm proud of the work you guys do at Dimock. You know, I also do an outside fellowship that helps me in just talking about further treatment. You know, with all that being said, is there anything you want to add? Is there, you know, we have a couple minutes left. I can give you guys each a minute.
I want to say, well, I mean, Dimock, where we work, the Dimock Center, we basically have the whole model of treatment. We have a whole campus. So we have Detox, we have CSS. The only thing we don't have is a TSS, but we have.
I heard they just did it over.
Absolutely.
Brand new Detox, yeah. So it's like a state-of-the-art Detox, moving up to about 40 beds next coming month. So right now we're at 30, but we have a Detox, we have a women's CSS, we have 2 male halfway houses, we have a female halfway house, we have a health center, we have a Suboxone clinic, we have a dentist, we have adult medicine, we have everything basically over there, everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we have
That's amazing.
we have IOP, outpatient, we got it all.
So do you have any events? Is there anything coming up? Is there anything you want to add, Rob? Anything at all?
I guess with the whole process of treatment, it's a process for a reason. I learned through my process that like my God will move mountains, but I have to bring the shovel. Like if I want to reap any rewards in life, I have to do the work, and like sticking and staying in the process. And even if my knuckles are turning white from holding on to my seat, I need to trust the process and to follow through with it and not take a shortcut.
So don't give up.
Don't give up. Don't try to take a shortcut. Don't try to make a quick move. Take the suggestions and get ready to get your life back.
Yeah, this has been a great show, and you know, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to end it like we always do. We want to just say, if you're out there and you might need help, and you don't know if you need help or you're thinking about it, please contact Malden Overcoming Addiction. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter at Malden Overcomes. You can get us on our email at maldenovercomingaddiction@gmail.com. You can visit our website, maldenovercomingaddiction.com. And please, if you do need help, please reach out. We're here for you, and we will see you next month. Thank you.